Welcome back. We're going to talk about arrays. What is an array? Let's just dive right into code. We're going to have names, see the plural there, equals bracket Jane, Joe, Mo. What I've just done there is I've created an array called names that has the contents Jane, Joe, and Mo. We're going to go back to our friend console.log to see what's going on with names. And I hit run. It prints out Jane, Joe, and Mo. Simple. But how do I access an individual item in an array? If you'll look here, we'll specify the index. So in this case, let's just try out names 1. It printed out Joe. You would think names 1 should print out Jane, right? Well, indexes start at 0. So if we run it with 0, it'll print out Jane. And of course, we have 0, 1, and 2. So let's print out Mo. There's Mo. What happens if we go outside of the index? 0, 1, 2. There is no 3. It is undefined. Let's add on a third. Let's say we define our array like this, but later on we want to tack on another name. Names.push Eli. Now when we log names 3, the third index, it'll print Eli. Now, let me show you how to take someone off of the list. Names.pop. We'll check our names again. And now it's just Jane and Joe. We have popped Mo off of the end of the list. So we have names.push Eli. Names.pop will pop Eli off of there. And we'll be back to Jane, Joe, and Mo. So push and pop deal with the end of the array. Now, if we want to add items or remove items from the beginning of the array, we do names.unshift and let's say Joe. Let's put Joe at the front. Joe, Jane, Joe, and Mo. I should have done another name. Let's say Joey to make it easier. Joey, Jane, Joe, and Mo. And let's say we just want to take Jane off the list for now. We'll just shift it. And now it's just Joe and Mo. Now I'm going to introduce you to for loops. What are for loops? Well, let's start writing code and find out. So basically I'm going to type for, and in parentheses I'm going to declare a var. Now this var is just used for counting the index. So I'm just going to label it I. I'm going to set it to 0 initially with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go I less than names.length. Names.length in this case will be 3. And then to increment it each time it goes through the loop, I'm going to type I plus plus. End the parentheses, open the bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you text to display. I'm going to initialize it to be an empty string. Now, if I just go ahead and set the contents right now, you'll see nothing here because text to display is an empty string. I don't modify it anywhere. I just set it so it's empty. So now what I'm going to do is append the names to the variable text to display. So to do that, let's start out. Text to display plus equals names, and then for index I'm going to use I. Initially I will be 0. This will run, and text to display will be Jane. Does that make sense? Next, what's going to happen is I is going to increment itself right here. So now I is going to be 1. Then it's going to check, is I less than names.length? In other words, is 1 less than 3? Since it is, it's going to move on and append Joe. And it'll do it one more time for Mo. Then it's going to increment one more time. At that point, 3 is no longer less than 3, so it's going to move on and display it right there. Let's run it. Jane, Joe, Mo. Now for display purposes, I'm just going to throw in a little bit of HTML here. I'm going to append it, just a line break. BR for display purposes, Jane, Joe, and Mo. This is a line break.